I'd like you to take a second to imagine an animal that can essentially see the Earth's magnetic field. And for those of you who don't know, the Earth's magnetic field is kind of what drives compasses and just like direction for humans. It's not visible, but imagine being able to see it. And for this sake, an animal that can dive into the ground almost blindly, not very much blindly, and can retrieve underground prey almost every time. And on top of that, imagine being able to adapt to almost any environment you are placed in. Luckily, you don't have to imagine it. The Earth has given us the fox. I'm Josh Pearson, and today I'm going to be informing you about one of evolution's greatest strategists, the fox. The information from nature's mentor, facts and information about foxes' hunting techniques have been kind of laid out for us to discuss. So, they have very heightened senses, and they kind of have a pattern of start to finish when it comes to hunting. And some may know it's very common for the fox to perform this pouncing technique. It's kind of what they're known for in like the animal kingdom. They start off with this trotting search pattern where it's like a slow pace. They walk, and the cool thing about it is that their hind legs fall in the same spot that their front legs fell in. It kind of reduces the ability for other animals to track them and for their prey to sense them coming. So with that, when they kind of locate or hear or smell any trail of any prey in the area they're trotting around, they then begin to scent track. And with scent tracking, like many mammals have, they have a very heightened sense of smell. And with scent tracking, the fox is able to detect scent trails left by prey or other animals, and it is their first feature used when hunting prey. And when a fox finally catches scent of the prey they're after, they stop performing that trot. They stand still because when they're moving, their hearing isn't as good as it's supposed to be. And with the fox, they have some of the best hearing in mammals. So when they stand still after locking onto a prey, they can hear almost every movement that prey is making. And each time the prey moves, they can almost pinpoint exactly where it is, even if it's underground. So after they kind of lock onto the prey with their hearing, the next sense is sight. Their sight alone isn't their best feature. However, they have this really unique kind of phenomenon where they can almost visualize the Earth's magnetic field. So I will touch on that a little bit later after I'm done discussing the pouncing. So once they finally use all these tactics to locate their prey, that's when they prepare to pounce. And the coolest thing about this is underground prey, above ground prey, anything. When the fox pounces, it works best than most other mammals' hunting techniques. So of course, there are other variations of its techniques depending on the prey it's hunting, because it's not always going after small rodents that are underground, and a lot of times it's not even going after live animals. The cool thing about foxes is they have a variety of diets. So it starts with omnivores. They'll eat anything from berries and fruits and vegetables all the way to insects, and then small rodents, almost anything they can get their paws on. So back to the magnetic field thing, using a bunch of research done and published by Biology Letters, they performed a bunch of biologging studies, basically kind of tracking real foxes that are in captivity but in a real survival scenario. And they've been able to literally track the foxes and their prey and their kind of accuracy of using this pounce. And it has been found that they can use this thing called magnetic alignment, which is something that many animals use, but none really use it for hunting the way the foxes do. So for foxes, it's referred to as spontaneous magnetic alignment. And it is theorized that the foxes are able to use the magnetic field as like a visual pattern, like something they can almost see. And it helps them measure distance almost as accurate as like a mathematical equation. And it's crazy because it's not something that scientists have fully wrapped their heads around. They can't really explain how they do this. They just kind of know that they do it. So the studies show too is that when they're facing magnetic north, they are 3 to 4 times more successful with their pounce than any other magnetic direction. And the magnetic directions are like magnetic north, east, southwest, normal directions for a compass. So using machine learning classifiers, kind of software that measures a series of attempts with these foxes attacks, results showed up to 90% accuracy in identifying their prey's location using the magnetic direction. So it is clear that they utilize the magnetic field. It's just not clear how they do it. And I think that's something that's very cool. However, the best theory that has been brought up is, like I said, they kind of visualize it. It's like a visual map to them that helps them calculate where they're pouncing. Now, also, like I said, scientists are aware, and it is known that other animals use this magnetic alignment as a spontaneous directional response to Earth's magnetic field. And a lot of animals use this to migrate very subtly, maybe when they lay down or rest, just kind of in passive ways that aren't extremely beneficial other than like the migrations. In foxes in particular, it's used for hunting, and that is why they are so evolutionary with their hunting and why it is so cool how they use this strategy. So back to the whole adapting thing, the coolest thing is, like I said, they have 12 species. There are over 20 species, but there are 12 like true recognized distinct species of foxes. And that would be in particular the genus Vulpes family, which is also a Canidae family, or a family of canines, because foxes are related to canines like dogs and other animals. While that's true, there are still a lot of features that resemble other animals like cats or rabbits with the ears and everything. So within those 12 true species of foxes, they can adapt anywhere from high altitudes to low altitudes to hot open fields or forest or freezing open tundras in like Alaska. So the true foxes, I'll list them, are the Arctic fox, the fennec fox, the swift fox, the kit fox, the Corsac fox, the Cape fox, the Bengal fox, Blandford's fox, the pale fox, the Tibetan fox, Ruppel's fox, and the most well-known of them is the red fox, which is also the most diversely adaptive fox. So the three more well-known ones that I'm going to elaborate on are the red fox, the fennec fox, and the Arctic fox. And most of this information is coming from a website called TRVST. They kind of specialize in breaking down the basics of all sorts of different animals. I'm also looking at Mammalian Biology, which is a publisher that publishes articles about studies with different animals and different phenomena they use that people are not fully aware of how it works. So I will start with these first three foxes, and they tend to be nocturnal, as that is just a common trait among all foxes. I'll start with the fennec fox. This one in particular is known for its adaptive ability to survive desert temperatures and environmental challenges. This one is strictly nocturnal, partly due to the heat and also the fact that the desert is just a wide open space. And a small animal like this is not going to make it out well in the middle of the day in the desert. The next is going to be the Arctic fox. This one is known for its adaptive ability to acclimate to winter deserts or tundras like Alaska or Iceland or Greenland. This one is not strictly nocturnal due to its extremely adapted camouflage. It is pure white and can blend in any snowy environment. And finally, the most well-known is the red fox. You can find them almost anywhere. They have acclimated to forests, grasslands, open plains, coastal towns, and the craziest part most recently is urban developments, suburban developments, cities, towns, even farmlands, just about anywhere. So those are kind of the most intriguing facts that I found about foxes, and there are so many that I could go into. It's almost endless, but I'm gonna kind of keep it at this because there's one fun fact I kind of want to go into a little bit, is that in Japanese mythology and folklore, there is this fox-like image called a kitsune, and every century that they live, they grow an extra tail, and it is said that the more tails they have, the more godlike they are. I think that's cool because it kind of comes and stems from the fact that foxes have a pretty successful environmental life with their really in-depth strategies of getting around. And it kind of comes from the idea that they're very smart and clever and sneaky animals, and they don't have too many troubles in wildlife with the way that they perform themselves. So whether you enjoyed the survival skills of the fox or their other dimensional ability to see magnetic fields, or even the fun fact about the kitsune, it's clear that foxes don't just survive on Earth, they thrive with their strategy, and in more habitats than people can count. It almost kind of questions where they stand compared to human evolution. It's almost amazing how they perform daily and necessary survival tactics. So thank you for your time and attention. I hope you enjoyed this information about foxes.